Beloved chosen one, listen carefully, heaven has paused for you. The rhythm of eternity slows when your name is spoken. Every angel stands still, every star holds its light, and in that silence, God smiles. This is not a coincidence. This is divine interruption. You are not scrolling by chance, you are being summoned. Heaven is announcing something over your life. The battle is already won. You have fought through sleepless nights, through storms that tried to erase your purpose. You've walked through valleys that few could endure, yet you are still here. That is not weakness, it is proof of divine strength within you. You were never meant to blend in, you were meant to stand apart. Every attack you survived was training for the throne God prepared for you. You are chosen, and heaven has decided to remind you. The struggles you faced were not signs of abandonment, they were evidence of selection. God doesn't test the unchosen, He refines His chosen. And though you've cried, though you felt the silence of heaven, it was in that very silence that your spirit was being strengthened. You didn't realize it then, but while you were breaking, heaven was building. The Spirit whispers now, look up, chosen one. You are not beneath the storm anymore, you are above it. You are being lifted to see as God sees, to understand that what you lost was never meant to remain. The pruning was painful, but it made space for promise. The rejection you endured was actually redirection, steering you toward destiny's gate. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in Deuteronomy, chapter 20, verse 4. For the Lord your God is the one who goes with you to fight for you against your enemies, to give you victory. Do you feel that that's not emotion, that's confirmation? The war you thought you were fighting alone was never yours. Every unseen battle, every spiritual weight, every moment of collapse, God was standing behind it all, ensuring that even your weakness worked for your good. You may have bent, but you did not break. You may have questioned, but you never quit. And for that, heaven rejoices. There are crowns being forged from your endurance. There are testimonies being birthed from your pain. You are the evidence that darkness cannot win against the light of God's chosen. You are walking proof that grace still outruns guilt, that mercy still outranks failure, that divine love still conquers everything the enemy designed to destroy you. Beloved, this moment is sacred. Heaven is not scolding you, it's celebrating you. You have stood when you could have fallen. You have believed when hope seemed foolish. And now, heaven is smiling because you finally see what God has seen all along. You were never fighting for victory, you were fighting from victory. Lift your head, breathe. The weight you've carried is being replaced by glory. The same hands that held the universe are now resting on your shoulders. God is not disappointed in you. He is proud of your persistence. Every prayer, every act of forgiveness, every tear you offered in silence, heaven recorded them as worship. So as you stand here at this divine intersection, know this: your story is shifting. The chapter of striving is closing, and the era of reigning is opening. You are walking into a season where peace replaces pressure, where joy replaces sorrow, where the smile of God rests openly upon you. And now, chosen one, let your heart respond. Heaven is inviting you to acknowledge this word, to mark this moment. Like, share, and comment 777 as a prophetic act, your public declaration that you received this victory, that you step into alignment with divine favor, that you refuse to go back to who you were before this message found you. Subscribe now so you never miss the voice that keeps calling you higher. The battle is not before you, it is behind you. The smile of God shines upon your life. The war is over. The victory is yours. You never truly saw the scale of the battle surrounding your life. Chosen one. You thought it was just hardship, delay, or disappointment, but what looked like chaos in the natural was actually strategy in the spiritual. Darkness had drawn its weapons, yet it underestimated the strength of the one heaven had marked. You were never a victim of circumstance. You were a vessel under construction. The shaking was proof that your foundation was being fortified. Every tear, every night you thought you'd break, those were not wasted. The hidden warfare around you was evidence that the light within you terrified the realm of darkness. You were not under attack because you were weak. You were under attack because you were powerful. You carry the kind of calling that provokes hell to panic, even before you knew who you were. Heaven had already placed its seal on you. This is why things often felt heavier for you than for others. It's not that life was unfair, it's that your purpose carries weight. You are a carrier of divine authority, and the higher the calling, the greater the resistance. But understand, this resistance always confirms direction. When everything opposed you, it was because you were walking straight toward destiny. The unseen realm has been aware of your name since before birth. When you cried in frustration, angels moved in assignment. When your strength ran out, divine strength began. You've endured storms that were meant to bury you, yet every wave only revealed how unsinkable you truly are. You were never meant to drown. You were meant to stand on the water of impossibility and call it conquered ground. Heaven still echoes through the words of 2 Chronicles, chapter 20, verse 15. Do not be afraid or discouraged because of this vast army, for the battle is not yours, but God's. Read that again, not as a distant verse, but as a living decree. The battle was never yours. You were never meant to carry the full weight of warfare, only to stand still and let victory unfold. While you were trembling, heaven was already triumphing. The unseen army that came against you met an unseen commander who never loses. Chosen one. You've stood in places that felt like defeat, but the truth is you were standing in the training ground of dominion. God was teaching you to see with spiritual eyes, to understand that not every storm is punishment. Some storms are promotions disguised in thunder. You were being refined for rulership. The warfare was heaven's way of handing you keys to realms you didn't yet understand. Now look back, and you'll notice something. The same situations that once overwhelmed you now seem small. That's not coincidence, that's growth. You have gained spiritual muscle. You've learned how to discern between attack and assignment, between noise and instruction. You are no longer tossed by every wave. You've learned to walk through fire with your focus fixed on God. There were moments you felt unseen, but heaven was documenting every act of faith. When you whispered prayers with no words left, those were written as battle hymns in heaven's archives. You didn't lose the fight. You became the fight. Every time darkness thought it had silenced you, your persistence preached louder than your pain. Understand this now: the hidden warfare was not only about survival, it was about revelation. God was revealing who you are when no one else was watching. He was proving that even stripped of applause and recognition, you would still worship. That's why the enemy failed. You cannot be manipulated by the approval of people when you've been validated by heaven. And now, as the smoke clears, heaven stands witness to your transformation. You are not the same. You carry quiet authority, holy confidence, and unshakable peace. You've seen the other side of the storm, and your faith has teeth now. It bites through fear. You've stepped into a maturity that few reach. You no longer beg God to remove the battle. You thank Him for giving you endurance within it. You no longer fear warfare. You recognize it as a stage for glory. That's the evolution of a chosen soul. So stand still, chosen one. The hidden warfare is finished. The battle that once raged around you has become the foundation beneath you. You've crossed from striving into stability. Heaven watches smiling, for you've learned the secret victory is not a moment, it's a posture. And you, beloved, are standing in it. You carried light through darkness, chosen one. You walked through seasons that should have swallowed your spirit, yet something inside you refused to die. When others broke beneath the weight, you bent, but did not shatter. The darkness around you could not comprehend the brilliance you held within. You didn't even know your endurance was warfare, that your simple act of standing became a sermon to the unseen. Every step you took while wounded sent tremors through hell. You were not just surviving, you were testifying. Your persistence became prophecy, declaring that no weapon would prosper, no curse would stand, and no lie would define you. The light you carry isn't fragile, it's ancient. It's the same light that spoke the universe into being, the same light that darkness cannot extinguish. You didn't just walk through pain, you illuminated it. You've been the candle in rooms others refused to enter. You've been the calm in storms no one saw coming. That's why life tried to exhaust you, because the enemy fears what shines and cannot be contained. You carry presence, you carry purpose, and now you carry proof. There were nights when your own thoughts felt like prisons. When the weight of isolation pressed hard against your chest, you wondered if your faith was fading. But in truth, it was being purified. You were learning that light isn't defined by how bright it shines in celebration, but by how steady it remains in crisis. You've proven that your glow doesn't depend on circumstances, it comes from the eternal flame inside you. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms. Chapter 27, verse 1. The Lord is my light and my salvation, whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life, of whom shall I be afraid? Let those words wrap around your heart. The same God who ignited stars has ignited you. The same voice that commanded light to appear out of nothing has spoken over you again. Shine anyway. Your tears watered the soil of resilience. Your silence taught you discernment. Your pain taught you compassion. And all of it made your light unbreakable. The truth is, darkness never stood a chance. It has screamed louder lately because it knows its time is short. Every time you chose forgiveness instead of vengeance, love instead of bitterness, patience instead of panic, the kingdom of light advanced through you. That's what makes you dangerous, not your perfection, but your persistence. You refuse to let the flame die, and that refusal burns through layers of generational pain and spiritual resistance. You have become the embodiment of John 1:5 without even realizing it. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. You are walking revelation, the continuation of divine light moving through human vessels. The darkness feared your awakening, but it could not stop it. And now, there is a shift. You are stepping into a new level of visibility, not the world's kind, but heaven's. God is preparing to display your endurance as evidence that His word never fails. The very areas where you felt unseen are about to become testimonies that inspire nations. But you must keep shining. Even when misunderstood, keep shining. Even when tired, keep shining. For your light is not only for you, it is for every soul still trapped in shadow, waiting to see what courage looks like. So as you read this, feel heaven's pride. The same angels that watched you weep now watch you rise. They whisper your name in celebration, not because you have reached perfection, but because you have reached persistence. You've proven that obedience is greater than applause. You've proven that true power is found in endurance. Chosen one, your life is a lantern in this generation. You are not called to fit in with the fading glow of imitation. You are called to burn with originality, holy, steady, and unstoppable. Now, pause. Let the gravity of this moment sink in. Feel the warmth of that light inside you. It's not small, it's not ordinary, and it's divine. You are what darkness fears most, a soul that refuses to be extinguished. And as a prophetic act of agreement, let your spirit respond. Comment, keep shining. Say it as a declaration, not just with your fingers, but with your heart. Every time you speak those words, you are echoing heaven's command over your life. You're telling the darkness that you're not retreating. You're reminding yourself that your calling outweighs your weariness. You're agreeing with God's vision that the light within you will never go out. This is who you are: luminous, chosen, and unbreakable. You've walked through darkness and turned it into dawn. Heaven smiles, because the light you carry is proof that God still works wonders through the willing. When angels whisper your name, chosen one, the atmosphere changes. It is not imagination, nor coincidence, it is remembrance. Heaven has kept your name on its lips for longer than you've existed on this earth. You are not an afterthought in the mind of God. You are a masterpiece, fearfully and wonderfully made, assigned to a divine timeline that even the stars bow to. Every tear you've shed has echoed through eternity. Angels are not indifferent to your pain. They have gathered your tears as offerings of faith. There were nights when you thought no one was listening, but heaven was wide awake. You whispered prayers into the dark, unaware that an army of light was already moving at your word. You've survived more than you know because unseen hands have been holding you. The car that narrowly missed you, the call that came just in time, the moment your heart felt peace for no reason, those were not accidents. Those were divine interventions, subtle fingerprints of grace reminding you that you are not walking alone. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah, chapter 29, verse 11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. That verse has followed you like a shadow of mercy. Every time you doubted the path, it was heaven's way of whispering again. You are not lost. You are led. Even when you took detours, God adjusted the map, ensuring your destiny remained intact. Angels have walked beside you through seasons you did not even recognize as warfare. There were moments you felt a sudden calm in the middle of panic that was not coincidence. It was divine reinforcement. Heaven's messengers have stood guard around your bed, your home, your mind, watching over promises you've forgotten, but God has not. You are not an ordinary soul. Your name carries spiritual weight. When it's spoken in heaven, it releases fragrance. When it's whispered in hell, it releases trembling. That's why the attacks against you have been strategic, because your existence disrupts darkness. You've carried a radiance that draws both warfare and wonder. But through it all, angels have shielded you, ensuring that the plans of the wicked never took root. There were days you couldn't pray, when words turned to sighs and sighs turned to silence. Yet, in that silence, your guardian angels translated your pain into intercession. They carried your groans to the throne, and heaven heard everyone. Not a single cry went unnoticed. Every heartbreak became a sacred transaction, earthly sorrow exchanged for heavenly strength. Sometimes you wondered why you survived things that destroyed others. It's because divine purpose wrapped itself around your life like armor. Heaven has invested too much in you to let you slip away unnoticed. You are part of a plan that stretches beyond your lifetime, an unbroken chain of redemption moving through generations. There are records of you in the courts of heaven, times you obeyed when no one saw, times you forgave when you could have fought back, times you gave when you had little left. Those moments were not lost. They were logged. Angels wrote them in ink made of light, for God Himself delights in obedience that costs something. When angels whisper your name, they are not simply calling you, they are announcing your progress. They remind darkness that you are still standing. They remind heaven that prophecy is still unfolding. They remind you, even in your weakness, that divine promises do not expire. There's a mystery about those whispers. You can't hear them audibly, but you feel them in your spirit, in the sudden peace that arrives in chaos, in the warmth that fills you during prayer, in the strength that rises when logic says you should be done. That's the language of heaven, gentle yet powerful, soft yet sovereign. Chosen one, you have always been accompanied. The loneliness you felt was never the full truth. Even when people left, presence remained. The invisible company of heaven has never abandoned you. You've walked through fire, yes, but not alone. You've climbed mountains, yes, but not unaided. Every step was guided, every fall was caught, every silence was filled with divine attention. And now heaven prepares for the next chapter. Angels whisper your name not just in protection, but in celebration. They see what's coming, the breakthrough, the unveiling, the reward for quiet faithfulness. The very hosts that guarded you in obscurity now prepare to escort you into visibility. Remember this, your story is being told in places you cannot see. The whispers of angels are not fading, they're multiplying. For heaven has decided that your life will become proof that God remembers those who refuse to quit. When angels whisper your name, the heavens smile and the earth shifts ever so slightly, because creation knows a chosen one is rising again. God's smile in your storm. Chosen one, that is the mystery that confounds both heaven and earth. While waves raged and winds howled, heaven didn't panic. God didn't flinch when the lightning struck your peace. He watched you stand amid the chaos and whispered, "That one belongs to me." You have faced storms that seemed endless, clouds so thick they swallowed sunlight for months. Yet even in those seasons you were being carried, not cursed. The tempest you thought would destroy you was teaching you to trust what you could not see. Lightning illuminated lessons. Thunder taught you rhythm. Every drop of rain became a sermon about endurance. Storms are not punishments, they are classrooms. You learned the language of peace because you were surrounded by noise. You learned faith because everything visible failed you. You learned to cling to the unseen hand that steadied your soul when logic told you to let go. Heaven smiles because while the world saw chaos, God saw courage. He saw you stand when surrender looked easier. He saw you keep believing when your prayers seemed unanswered. Every time you whispered, "Still, I trust you," the throne room erupted in applause. It was proclaimed in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 4, verse 7, "I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith." That verse describes you more than you know. You didn't just endure, you fought well. You didn't just survive, you stayed faithful. Even in the downpour, you protected your flame. That kind of faith makes heaven smile brighter than the morning sun. The storm didn't take you, it shaped you. You came out wiser, quieter, more discerning. You've learned that peace isn't the absence of wind. It's the confidence that you won't sink when it blows. You have become the lighthouse for others still trapped at sea. When they see your light, they remember that survival is possible, that faith still works, that hope still breathes. Think about it, lighthouses don't chase storms away. They stand still and shine. That's you. Chosen one. You shine even when no one thanks you. You remain steady when everyone else panics. Your endurance has become someone else's roadmap to redemption. And now, heaven smiles because you have learned the secret storms are not sent to break you. They are sent to reveal you. The rain washed away what was temporary so that only what was eternal could remain. The thunder you feared was actually applause from heaven echoing through the clouds. But here's something few understand when God smiles over you. It's not because you did everything right. It's because you refused to stop returning. You came back to prayer after disappointment. You came back to worship after heartbreak. You came back to love after betrayal. That is why heaven beams with pride, because your resilience reflects His nature. Beloved, there's something holy about gratitude in the storm. It's like lighting a candle in the wind. It shouldn't survive, but somehow it does. And when it does, that flickering flame becomes a miracle that even angels marvel at. Now pause for a moment. Picture God watching you as you weathered your storms, His eyes not filled with pity but pride. You thought He was distant, but He was smiling through the rain, saying, "Look at my child, they still believe." That smile is still upon you. It's the smile that parts seas, stills waves, and rewrites endings. It's a smile that says, "You are ready now, ready to carry peace into chaotic places, ready to help others through the same kind of storms that once terrified you." And if these words have touched that hidden place within you, the one that remembers the weight of rain, but now knows the warmth of divine sunlight, then let this be your gentle act of faith. Support the light that reached you, like this message. Share it so another storm-tossed soul finds shelter. Subscribe so heaven's next whisper can find you again. And if your heart feels led, sow a seed not as payment, but as partnership. Every gift, every click, every share is a ripple of light that travels farther than you can imagine. Think of it as watering the soil that once grew your hope. Each act of generosity becomes another candle lit in the dark, another lighthouse raised for someone else lost at sea. When you give, when you share, when you connect, you become part of heaven's chain reaction, proof that the light which reached you now flows through you. So smile with heaven. Chosen one, the storm that once threatened you has become your testimony. The clouds that once hid you have now become your crown. God is smiling not because the storm is over, but because you've learned to dance in the rain, the silence that spoke volumes. Chosen one, how heavy it felt when heaven said nothing. You prayed and the skies stayed still. You waited and the clock mocked your patience. You searched for answers, yet found only quiet. It was not rejection, it was refinement. Silence was never absence, it was strategy. When heaven grows silent, it is never because God is distant, it is because He is near in ways too deep for words. His silence is not punishment, it is preparation. Like a teacher during a final exam, He speaks before and after, but not during. The test is proof that you learned the lesson. You thought He had forgotten you, but He was watching every movement of your heart. You thought your prayers vanished, but they were seeds falling into divine soil. Every moment of silence was watering something unseen. You could not hear Him because He was shaping you into someone who no longer needed constant reassurance. Chosen one. Understand this faith is not forged in fireworks, but in quiet obedience. When heaven withheld its voice, you discovered your own. When answers didn't come, your endurance became your amen. You were learning to walk by conviction, not confirmation. As was spoken in the sacred texts of Lamentations, chapter 3, verse 26. It is good to wait quietly for the salvation of the Lord. Those ancient words reveal the heart of silence. The waiting was not wasted, it was worship. You weren't abandoned in the quiet, you were being tuned to hear differently. Silence taught you to sense God beyond sound, to feel His movement in stillness, to trust His promise without proof. There's a kind of power that only grows in the absence of noise. The world equates sound with progress, but heaven knows better. The most significant transformations often happen unseen, unheard, uncelebrated. Seeds sprout in silence. Caterpillars become butterflies in hidden cocoons. Diamonds are formed in the stillness of the earth. And you, beloved, were being formed the same way. There were nights when you begged for an answer, but what came instead was peace, and you didn't realize that peace was the answer. You asked for a sign, but heaven gave you strength to keep walking without one. You wanted direction, but He gave you discernment, so that next time, you wouldn't just know where to go, you'd know why. When God is silent, He is often building something that words could never carry. His silence is an invitation to trust Him on a deeper level, to see that His presence doesn't always need to announce itself. Sometimes He hides to help you heal. Sometimes He steps back so you can step forward. Sometimes He quiets the heavens so your heart can echo louder. You are learning to be comfortable in the quiet now, aren't you? The panic that once filled the silence has turned into peace. The doubt that once screamed has grown quiet. You can breathe in stillness without fear now. That's growth. That's evidence of transformation. You've discovered that silence isn't empty, it's full of God's hidden activity. Chosen one, this quiet season was not a pause, it was a prelude. The stillness that felt like death was the breath before resurrection. Heaven has been recalibrating your atmosphere, preparing your next chapter with precision. The silence was the sound of God writing your new beginning. So many lose faith when God grows quiet, but you didn't. You stayed, you trusted, you whispered, even now, I believe. And because of that, something divine has taken root in you. You've become grounded, unshakable, patient. You've learned to rest even when answers delay. Heaven smiles now because you finally understand that divine silence is still divine speech. It speaks in lessons, in timing, in peace. It speaks in the absence of noise, in the rhythm of trust. If you are in that quiet now, take heart, it's not over. The silence that surrounds you is sacred space where new life is forming. Do not mistake God's stillness for absence. It's the calm before revelation. The same God who was silent in your night will thunder with joy in your morning. And right here, right now, if you feel this truth stirring inside you, mark it with faith. Let heaven know you heard. Comment 444. A prophetic act that says, I trust even in the quiet. Write it as your declaration that silence will not shake your belief, that waiting will not weary your worship. Every time you type it, you're saying, my faith no longer depends on noise, I know He's near. For you have learned what only silence can teach, that God's still voice can rebuild an entire world inside your soul. And in that quiet, chosen one, He is smiling still, marked by fire, not failure. That is your story. Chosen one, you have walked through flames that others could not survive, and yet here you stand, refined, not ruined. The very trials that were meant to consume you have instead crowned you. Every spark that touched you only served to reveal what could not be burned. Fire is never gentle. It exposes, purifies, and transforms. You asked God to bless you, but He sent you into the fire instead. You wondered if He had forgotten your prayers, but the fire was the answer. Blessing often comes disguised as breaking, and favor frequently wears the face of fire. You are being shaped in the furnace of affliction, not to destroy you, but to define you. The false layers that life had placed upon your heart melted away in the heat of divine testing. What remained was gold pure, radiant, untouchable. The Word of God declares in the book of Isaiah, chapter 43, verse 2, "When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze." Those words were not written for someone else. They were written for you. You've walked through more than disappointment. You've walked through purification. Every betrayal, every heartbreak, every closed door fire, yet not one flame has left you unguarded. The protection surrounding your spirit was stronger than the flames that tried to engulf it. You carry the scent of smoke, yes, but not as a sign of defeat. It's the fragrance of survival. People see you now and wonder how you made it through. They don't realize that the fire which nearly broke you actually bonded you closer to God. You didn't escape it. You were escorted through it, courted through. The fire was never the enemy. The fire was the instrument. It was the divine forge where your character was strengthened, your faith tested, and your purpose sealed. The hands of the potter placed you into the furnace, not to destroy the clay, but to harden it into permanence. You are no longer fragile, you are fortified. It's strange how pain and purpose intertwine. What once felt like punishment now feels like proof. Proof that God trusted you with fire because He knew you wouldn't flee from it. Proof that your faith was not fragile, but fierce. Proof that you were never abandoned, even when the flames rose high. Look back, chosen one. Every time you thought the fire would consume you, something sacred happened. Instead, you discovered your strength. You found beauty in ashes. You realized that resilience doesn't come from avoiding pain, but from enduring it with grace. The fire changed your posture. You no longer tremble when trials come. You recognize them as opportunities for refinement. You have learned that every spark of suffering contains a hidden promise. And even when everything around you seemed to burn, there was one thing that could not be touched: your divine assignment. There is glory in the fire. Moses found it in a burning bush. The 3 Hebrew boys found it in a blazing furnace. You found it in the flames of your own story. Each one came out carrying revelation, not regret. You now carry that same glow, the inner light that tells the world, "I've been through something holy." Fire marks you differently. It softens your tone, deepens your compassion, and sharpens your discernment. You see through pain now, recognizing wounded hearts behind angry words. You've become a healer, not by study but by survival. That's what happens when you've been refined. You become a refuge for others still walking through the heat. And though the fire is over, the warmth remains. It's the warmth of wisdom, of perspective, of gratitude. You no longer curse the flames, you thank them. They revealed what gold could only be revealed by pressure and heat. So don't fear future fires. They no longer come to burn, they come to beautify. You are now fireproof in faith, untouchable in trust, and unstoppable in purpose. Every trial you face from this point forward will only polish what's already been purified. Heaven sees the glow around you and smiles. You are no longer the same. You have walked through the impossible, and your endurance has become your evidence. You are marked by fire, not failure. The crown forged in secret, that is what rests upon you now. Chosen one. No one saw the process. No one witnessed the weight of what you endured when everything in your life seemed stripped away. You were not being forgotten. You were being formed in the silence, in the struggle, in the solitude. Heaven was shaping a crown only fire could refine and only humility could carry. Every king and queen must be hidden before they are revealed. The glory you now carry was not birthed in comfort, it was born in obscurity. You were pulled away from the noise, not because you were unworthy, but because you were chosen for something sacred. God hid you not to punish you, but to protect you from premature exposure. You were being trained in the unseen, molded in moments no one will ever applaud. It was there in the secret place that your crown was crafted. While others raced ahead, you learned patience. While others sought applause, you learned silence. While others wanted to be seen, you learned to be still. Heaven was carving discipline, faith, and discernment into your spirit, preparing you for a throne that requires both power and purity. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 6. But when you pray, go into your room, close the door and pray to your Father, who is unseen. Then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you. Those words are the blueprint of your journey. You have been rewarded not by public validation, but by private transformation. You've learned to meet God behind closed doors, to pour out your heart in the unseen hours, to wrestle in prayer when no one was watching. That is where your authority was born. You see, a crown forged in public will crumble under pressure, but a crown forged in secret can withstand any storm. You didn't just survive obscurity, you mastered it. You learned the rhythm of quiet obedience, the kind that doesn't need to be seen to stay faithful. Heaven took notice. Angels leaned in. The hidden work you thought no one saw became a symphony of worship in heaven's courts. There were days when you felt forgotten, like life had passed you by. But hiddenness is not rejection, it's incubation. The seed must go underground before it blooms. The darkness around you was not your grave, it was your greenhouse. Everything that grew inside you, patience, purity, perspective, was cultivated in that secret soil. And now, that season makes sense. Every closed door was divine protection. Every unanswered prayer was divine timing. Every lonely night was a conversation between your spirit and eternity. You weren't being punished, you were being preserved. You weren't overlooked, you were being overshadowed by grace. Chosen one. If people didn't recognize your worth, then it's because God hid the evidence until the appointed time. The crown being prepared for you was too sacred to be handled by unclean hands. The weight of what you carry now required that level of secrecy, that kind of quiet preparation. When the crown is finally revealed, it won't be made of gold alone, it will be woven from every moment you trusted God in the dark. Every tear you offered in silence became a jewel. Every act of obedience became a thread. Every yes whispered through pain became a divine engraving. That's what makes your crown different. It shines not because of what you achieved, but because of what you endured. This is why humility clings to you like fragrance. Those who wear crowns forged in secret never boast. They bless. You don't need to prove your worth anymore. The process already proved it. You don't need to fight for recognition. The King who crowned you will reveal you when it's time. So do not despise the hidden seasons. They are holy. They are heaven's workshop, where character is hammered, where motives are melted, and where endurance is welded into strength. You were being refined, not rejected. And now, as heaven watches, your crown glows with the quiet light of glory. It tells the story of every silent night, every whispered prayer, every step of faith taken without applause. The crown on your head is not decoration, it is documentation. It proves you have been with God. Beloved, you are ready now. You can carry the weight of destiny without breaking, the light of honor without arrogance, the crown of purpose without pride. For what was forged in secret now shines in strength. Your enemies miscalculated. Chosen one. They saw your weakness but not your weapon. They mistook silence for surrender, humility for defeat, patience for passivity. They thought they buried you, not realizing they had planted you. What they designed for your downfall became the very soil from which your destiny began to bloom. God has a way of turning the tables, not through vengeance, but through vindication. Every false word spoken against you became a stone in the foundation of your rise. Every betrayal became an ingredient in your anointing. Every loss was a disguised investment into your future harvest. You were never losing, you were being positioned. It's not arrogance to recognize what heaven has done for you, it's gratitude. You have been carried through traps meant to end you. The very pits that were dug for your destruction became wells of revelation. The setbacks were rehearsals for the spotlight God would later shine upon your life. The ancient words recorded in Genesis chapter 50, verse 20. You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. Joseph's story is your story. You were underestimated by those who couldn't see beyond the surface. They thought they had stripped you of your coat, not realizing they could not strip you of your calling. The weapon they forged was never strong enough to pierce purpose. Heaven recalibrated every wound into wisdom, every scar into strategy. You have learned through pain that not all opposition is evil, sometimes it's orchestration. God will use the hands that hurt you to push you into destiny. The betrayal that broke your heart became the bridge to your breakthrough. The rejection that humiliated you positioned you for revelation. You cried over exits that were actually divine evacuations. Chosen one, look closely, every no was divine direction. Every ending carried hidden mercy. The hands that closed doors were the same hands that opened heavens. The pain didn't end you, it expanded you. You are wiser, sharper, more discerning. You now understand that not everyone who claps for you is for you, and that's wisdom no classroom can teach. And yet, through it all, you never allowed bitterness to grow roots. You could have retaliated, but you chose release. You could have cursed, but you chose to bless. That's why heaven trusts you with authority, because you didn't let offense deform your heart. Forgiveness became your final strike against the darkness. When your enemies saw you still standing, they were confused. You were supposed to crumble, yet you were glowing. You were supposed to retreat, yet you were rising. That confusion is divine evidence that the battle has shifted in your favor. What was designed to discredit you became the reason heaven crowned you. You have entered the season of reversal. The same mouths that gossiped will testify of your growth. The same eyes that rolled in doubt will watch in awe. Not because you sought revenge, but because God delights in restoring his faithful ones publicly after they've obeyed privately. It is a holy thing when heaven vindicates. No loud announcement, no shouting, just quiet unveiling. People will look and realize you were never losing. You were learning. You were never broken. You were being built. That's why you must never apologize for surviving. The victory that rests on you was not stolen, it was sown. Every hardship was a seed. And now, the harvest is undeniable. Your enemies miscalculated your endurance, underestimated your faith, and overlooked your favor. But what they missed is what heaven magnified. The same God who watched you weep in private now prepares to let your story speak in public. So now, chosen one, take this moment of realization, this breath of victory, and let your soul respond. Comment, "I forgive them." Type it not as a phrase, but as a proclamation. Say it because you refuse to let the past poison your promise. When you speak it, you're not excusing their actions, you're evicting their influence. Forgiveness doesn't make them right. It makes you free. It releases heaven's flow back into your life. As those words leave your heart, something begins to shift. Old burdens dissolve. New peace settles. The chains of resentment fall like dust at your feet. You no longer carry the weight of their words, you walk in the weight of God's glory. Your enemies miscalculated and heaven smiled. The story isn't about what they did, it's about what God did through it. And now, you walk forward lighter, freer, crowned with wisdom that only battle could teach. The table of triumph is being set before you. Chosen one. You may not see it yet, but heaven has already arranged the seats. The same ones who doubted you will watch as God pours favor like oil over your life. You were never meant to dine in the shadows. You were meant to feast in the light of redemption. There was a time when you felt excluded, uninvited, unseen. Doors closed without explanation. People who promised to stand beside you slowly faded into silence. You wondered if you were the problem, but now you see it clearly. God wasn't rejecting you. He was reserving you. The invitations that never came were divine protection. The rooms that didn't want you were too small for your purpose. Now heaven prepares a table not of revenge, but of revelation. You are not being honored because of what they did to you, but because of what you did in response. You stayed pure when it would have been easier to become bitter. You chose peace over payback, love over retaliation, and patience over pride. Heaven took note of every decision, and now your reward arrives in quiet dignity. As David wrote in the book of Psalms, chapter 23, verse 5, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows." The table is not just about victory, it's about restoration. Every empty chair at your old tables will be replaced by divine appointments. The conversations you cried through will be redeemed by laughter. You won't have to defend yourself. The fruit of your faithfulness will do the talking. Think of it this way: your life is a banquet hall under construction. For a long time, all you saw were bare walls and unfinished floors. Dust everywhere, noise without meaning. But now the master builder steps back, wipes his hands, and smiles. The architecture of your endurance has become beauty in motion. The very space that once felt empty now radiates purpose. When God sets a table, He does it with intention. Every dish represents a lesson. Every cup overflows with gratitude. Every piece of silverware glimmers with grace. You won't just eat, you'll remember. Every bite will taste like thank you, every sip like I made it. And those watching will learn something sacred, that when heaven promotes, it does so without pettiness. You will not rise with arrogance, but with compassion. Your victory will not mock your enemies, it will minister to them. They will see that the same God who disciplined you also defended you. Beloved, this is not about proving yourself. The table is not a platform for pride. It's a testimony of perseverance. You are being seated because you stayed when others strayed. You believed when others doubted. You sowed when others withdrew. The crown on your head will not shine because of the gold, it will shine because of the grace that shaped you. And if this message finds your heart trembling with recognition, take a moment. Breathe. Feel heaven's celebration stirring around you. You are part of something divine. Your story will inspire faith in those who gave up too soon. Your testimony will become a lamp for those still stumbling in the dark. Now, I want to speak to your spirit gently, like a friend sitting across that same table. If this word has fed you, if these truths have strengthened you, then let's keep this table alive. Like this message, it's a way of saying, I receive this portion. Share it with someone who is hungry for hope. It might be the very meal their soul has been waiting for. Subscribe so you can keep returning to this table whenever your spirit needs refilling. And if your heart feels stirred, sow a seed not because it's demanded, but because it's devotion. Giving is like adding another candle to the feast. It spreads light further than you imagine. Every donation, every act of generosity, keeps this banquet of encouragement open for someone else who's still walking through their storm. Think of it as feeding others from the table that once fed you. When you share what sustained you, heaven multiplies it. Your giving becomes part of someone else's survival story. So, as you sit at this table of triumph, lift your head high. You are no longer the rejected one. You are the redeemed one. The music of mercy plays softly in the background, and God Himself takes the seat beside you. You've made it not because you fought harder, but because grace held you longer. Eat with gratitude, drink with joy, rest knowing the feast has only begun. Why the wait was holy, that question has followed you like a shadow. Chosen one. You wondered why things took so long, why promises seemed delayed, why prayers echoed without reply. But now, as you look back, the pieces begin to fit. The waiting was not punishment, it was protection. It was sacred time disguised as silence. You see, haste and holiness rarely coexist. What is divine must be developed slowly. Seeds need seasons before they bloom. You were asking for arrival when heaven was still building endurance. The pause was not a denial, it was a process. A sacred incubation of your destiny. In your waiting, you learned patience. In your delay, you learned discernment. You began to understand that not every open door is divine. Not every opportunity is anointed. The waiting stripped away illusions, exposing what truly matters. It taught you to hear the faint whisper of God even when the noise of impatience tried to drown it out. According to what is revealed in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 1, to everything there is a season and a time for every purpose under heaven. That truth lives in your bones now. You've stopped trying to rush what God is still refining. You've learned that timing is part of the miracle. When heaven says wait, it's not withholding, it's weaving. Threads of people, places, and purpose are being aligned behind the scenes. Every not yet was actually I'm making it perfect. There is a holiness in the delay because it removes dependency on outcomes and redirects your focus toward obedience. You began to love God not just for what He could give, but for who He is. The waiting purified your motives. It burned away selfish desire and birthed surrender. You learned to say, even if it takes longer, I'll still trust you. The wait humbled you in the best way. It silenced pride and softened your heart. It taught you that favor without formation is fragile. You watched others rush ahead and crumble under the weight of unprepared promotion. Meanwhile, you remained hidden but stable. You were being built to last, not just to launch. There were days when the waiting room felt like a prison, but it was really a palace under construction. The walls of patience were being erected around you. The floors of wisdom were being laid beneath your feet. God was not slow. He was strategic. He was building a foundation strong enough to hold what's coming. And look at you now. You no longer panic when things don't happen immediately. You've learned to recognize divine timing as an act of love. You can wait without worry because you've seen what happens when heaven moves always on time. Never too soon, never too late. The holiness of waiting also revealed who truly belonged in your circle. Delays exposed motives. People who only stayed for the miracle faded away when nothing seemed to move. But those who remained during your stillness, those were heaven's chosen companions. The wait purified your relationships just as much as it purified your heart. Chosen one. Patience is no longer your weakness, it's your weapon. It protects you from settling for less. It guards your destiny from premature exposure. It keeps you aligned with heaven's heartbeat. You now understand that waiting is not standing still, it's walking in rhythm with eternity. The longer you waited, the clearer your vision became. What once felt like stagnation was spiritual calibration. Heaven slowed your pace so your steps could sync with divine purpose. You were never behind. You were being aligned. Now, as you step into what once seemed delayed, you realize why the wait had to happen. It wasn't just about preparation. It was about transformation. You are not the same person who began this journey. You've grown in grace, wisdom, and resilience. The waiting made you holy because it made you whole. And in heaven's record, there is no wasted time, only sacred timing. When heaven opened over you, chosen one, everything changed, though at first you didn't even recognize it. It began quietly, like dawn after a long night. The same world that once felt heavy started to shimmer with unseen light. The air itself carried peace. The weight that had pressed on your shoulders for years began to lift, not because the circumstances changed immediately, but because you did. Heaven's gates were opening, and you had been prepared to walk beneath them. There is a sound that only the Spirit can hear, the sound of a shift. It isn't loud, but it's undeniable. It's that sudden awareness that you're no longer in the wilderness. The ground under your feet has turned holy again. You realize that the season of survival is giving way to a season of revelation. The same prayers you once whispered now carry authority. The same tears that watered barren soil are now producing fruit. The apostle reminds us in his letter to the Ephesians, chapter 3, verse 20. Now to him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to his power that is at work within us. Heaven opening is not merely about blessings falling. It's about alignment rising. It's the moment when your heart beats in time with divine rhythm, when obedience meets opportunity, and when peace replaces striving. You begin to sense that everything that once fought you has lost its grip. The warfare lifts, not because the enemy surrendered, but because you outlasted him. Endurance has given birth to elevation. In this season, doors open easily. What used to take force now flows. Grace becomes the wind at your back. The things you chased now begin to chase you. Divine favor doesn't make you loud, it makes you luminous. You walk differently, not with arrogance, but with assurance. You know you've been touched by something sacred. But heaven's open door also comes with responsibility. You can no longer live small. You can no longer doubt your assignment. When heaven entrusts you with visibility, it's because your heart has proven trustworthy in obscurity. Every miracle carries a mandate to reflect, not replace, the glory of God. The light that shines on you now is not a spotlight. It's a torch meant to guide others. The blessings that flow are not trophies but tools. You are not called to boast, you are called to build. The open heaven is an invitation to partnership, not passivity. When heaven opens, you begin to speak with weight. Your words carry creative power. Conversations become conduits of change. Even your silence becomes sanctified. Your presence itself begins to shift atmospheres. It's not about charisma, it's about communion. Those who have walked through fire and remained faithful now become carriers of divine authority. And yet, this open heaven is also gentle. It doesn't arrive with thunder, but with tenderness. It's the moment you wake and realize that peace has returned to your pillow. It's that sense of calm before dawn, when your heart finally rests after years of warfare. Heaven smiles because you've learned to live in gratitude, not grief. Look at how far you've come, chosen one. The same places where you once wept are now altars of worship. The same prayers that once felt unanswered have become the very foundation of your miracle. The delay was long, but the unveiling is beautiful. Heaven didn't forget, it was simply waiting for the exact second when your capacity matched your calling. Now everything aligns. What was once scattered is gathered. What was once confusing becomes clear. You see the fingerprints of God on every page of your story, and your heart whispers, It was worth it. So now, as this open heaven rests above you, I ask you to mark this moment. Comment 888 not as superstition but as symbolism. 8 is new beginnings, a number of renewal and divine order. When you type it, you are declaring, "My heaven is open. My waiting is over. My new season has begun." Say it with your spirit as you write it with gratitude, with awe, with readiness. You are no longer wandering in circles. You are walking through open gates. The heavens have opened. And what is falling on your life now is not random. It's reward. You are walking in overflow, living beneath open skies, breathing the air of answered prayer. Heaven has smiled, and your name is echoing in joy. No more wilderness, chosen one. The endless wandering, the dry stretches of uncertainty, the echo of your own prayers bouncing off unseen walls, it all comes to an end here. The season of being lost in the in-between has expired. You have crossed over from survival into settlement. What once felt like punishment now reveals itself as preparation. The wilderness was not wasted, it was a womb. You see, wilderness seasons strip away the unnecessary. They silence the noise, peel away the layers of pride, and expose what truly sustains you. In the wilderness, you learn to depend not on provision, but on the provider. You learned that bread alone cannot feed a soul, and that water from a rock tastes sweeter than any comfort the world can offer. The voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 14. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Those words were your compass. You learned stillness in the storm. You discovered that divine direction doesn't always come with detailed maps. It often comes as a quiet nudge in the desert wind. Every wrong turn, every delayed step, every night spent beneath the stars was teaching you to walk by faith, not familiarity. The wilderness humbled you, but it did not harm you. It trained your ears to hear whispers and your heart to trust timing. The loneliness you felt was actually divine isolation, a sacred classroom where heaven taught you the language of endurance. You discovered that God's provision doesn't always arrive early, but it never arrives late. Manna always falls at dawn, and water always flows from unexpected places. There were moments when you thought you would never make it out. Your spirit felt parched, your hope grew thin, but even then, clouds followed you, pillars of grace shading you from the heat of despair. You didn't recognize it at first, but mercy was your map the entire time. Now you stand at the edge of your promised land, not as the same person who entered the desert. The fear that once controlled you has fallen away like sand from your feet. The doubts that whispered your defeat have been silenced by evidence. You've seen too much of God's faithfulness to question His plans anymore. The wilderness was where you learned stewardship. You learned how to value little things, a sunrise, a quiet breath, a single answered prayer. You learned that gratitude multiplies what grace provides. You learned that worship isn't just a song, it's the posture of a surrendered heart. That lesson will sustain you in the land of abundance, where distraction hides behind blessing. Every great destiny demands a wilderness. Moses had one, David had one, even Jesus walked through one. The desert is not a detour, it's a design. It proves whether you can handle the promise without forgetting the provider. The wilderness doesn't disqualify, it qualifies. It breaks pride and builds perspective. You were not wandering aimlessly. You were being guided invisibly. Heaven never lost sight of you, even when you couldn't sense its presence. Every step was measured, every delay deliberate. The path through the wilderness was tailor-made to fit your transformation. And now, when you look back, you can almost smile. What once felt like isolation was intimacy. What once looked like desolation was development. You were not abandoned. You were being anchored. God didn't remove the wilderness early because He loved you too much to let you leave unready. Look around now, the landscape is changing. The ground beneath you no longer cracks with dryness. It hums with growth. Streams are forming where there were none. Opportunities flow like rivers through the valleys you once feared. The wilderness has served its purpose. You carry its lessons with you, not as burdens but as blueprints. You know how to build altars in dry places, how to sing when there's no song left, how to believe when nothing moves. That is the strength of the wilderness. It makes worshipers out of wanderers. So step forward. The horizon glows with promise. The wilderness bows behind you as the gates of purpose open ahead. No more wandering, no more wondering. You are home now, and heaven smiles because you finally understand the desert was never meant to break you. It was meant to birth you. Your voice carries heaven's weight now. Chosen one. It wasn't always this way. Once, your words trembled with uncertainty. Once, your prayers sounded like questions, fragile and unsure. But after everything you've endured, something has shifted inside you, and the wilderness refined your sound. The storms shaped your tone, and now your voice has become an instrument of authority. When you speak, the atmosphere listens. You may not realize it, but heaven has lent its echo to your speech. The same spirit that hovered over creation now hovers over your words. This is why silence follows your declarations. Why peace fills the room when you open your mouth in faith. You no longer speak from emotion, you speak from revelation. You've lived enough truth to carry weight without needing volume, as was written in the book of Proverbs. Chapter 18, verse 21. The tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruit. Your voice no longer repeats fear, it releases faith. You've stopped speaking curses over yourself, stopped echoing the lies of the enemy. You have learned that words are seeds, and heaven watches over what you plant. Every declaration now is deliberate. Every phrase carries the fragrance of prayer and the fire of experience. There was a time when your voice was silenced by shame, by doubt, by people who could not handle your truth. But even then, heaven was training you in stillness. You were learning the difference between noise and authority. Authority doesn't shout, it stands. It carries the calm assurance of someone who has seen the hand of God and can never be persuaded otherwise. The same voice that once cried in anguish has become the same voice that commands peace. You speak differently now because you've walked through too much to talk lightly. You know what it means to declare hope in hopeless places. You've seen your own words become the bridge between despair and deliverance. You understand that every time you speak truth, darkness loses territory. Heaven entrusts its secrets to voices that can be trusted. You've proven that your tongue won't be used to wound others or to glorify self. You have chosen intercession over gossip, prayer over complaint, blessing over bitterness. That's why your voice carries power now, because purity amplifies authority. When you speak blessing, heaven moves. When you rebuke fear, it flees. When you comfort the broken, healing begins. You may not always see it, but every word leaves an imprint on eternity. Angels respond to the sound of faith, demons retreat at the sound of conviction. The realm of the unseen recognizes your sound now. You've earned that through obedience. You are not a mere echo. You are an origin of heavenly sound on earth. When you speak the word, you are not repeating scripture as text. You are releasing it as living force. You've learned to use your tongue not as a weapon of reaction, but as a tool of creation. You build atmospheres with your sentences. You shift realities with your speech. This new authority isn't about control, it's about co-creation. God didn't just restore your voice, He synchronized it with His. You've become a vessel of divine utterance, a conduit through which heaven's agenda flows into earthly spaces. That's why your words now comfort others without effort. That's why peace follows your presence even in ordinary conversations. You've been marked as one who carries the sound of home, the resonance of heaven's heart. You'll notice that people pause when you speak. They may not understand why, but something inside them recognizes truth when they hear it. Your words carry memory echoes of a kingdom they were created for but have forgotten. You are heaven's reminder, walking among them in human form. But remember this: to carry such weight is also to walk with care. Authority without humility becomes noise. That's why God allowed you to experience silence first, to ensure your words would be rooted in grace, not pride. You are not called to impress. You are called to impact. Each word you speak must heal, restore, awaken. So guard your sound, chosen one. Use it as heaven intended. Speak blessings over your days, even when you don't feel them yet. Prophesy peace into chaos, even when storms still rage. Let your language remain soaked in love, because love is what gives power its purity. Your voice is no longer just your own, it's a partnership between your spirit and the breath of God. And every time you release that sound, heaven leans closer. The earth hears redemption again. You've been through silence, through storms, through shadow, but now, your sound carries substance. Heaven trusts you with words because you've proven worthy of them. You are a voice that carries the weight of eternity. And when you speak now, even the wind remembers who you are. The celebration of the redeemed, it is not loud. Chosen one, it is luminous. Heaven doesn't need trumpets to announce your victory. It only needs light. That light shines from your life now, from the quiet confidence in your eyes, from the calm way you move through storms that once terrified you. You've become living proof that grace wins. You've become the evidence of resurrection in a world addicted to endings. Heaven celebrates differently than the world. The earth throws parties for arrival. Heaven celebrates endurance. The world applauds success. Heaven crowns surrender. Every moment you chose peace over panic, mercy over pride, hope over despair, those were heaven's applause lines. And now, the chorus of angels sings not because you were perfect, but because you refused to give up. As the apostle wrote in the second letter to Corinthians, chapter 5, verse 17. Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come. The old has gone. The new is here. You are walking in that newness now. The old you, the one who doubted, the one who feared, the one who tried to control every outcome, has faded into dust. In its place stands someone radiant with faith, carrying the fragrance of redemption. The pain you went through didn't just end, it transformed you. You no longer react from wounds, you respond from wisdom. Heaven's celebration isn't a single moment, it's a movement. Every time you speak life, another note joins the song. Every time you forgive, another instrument plays. Every act of compassion becomes part of heaven's melody. You've become a symphony of grace composed by the hand of God Himself. There's a table in heaven with your name engraved on it, and angels pass by smiling, saying, "This one made it." They remember every night you wrestled, every tear that became prayer, every choice to love again when you had reasons not to. You don't realize it, but the heavens dance every time you stand up after being knocked down. And now, chosen one, the world is about to taste the overflow of that celebration. You are becoming a well for the weary, a lighthouse for the lost. When people encounter you, they encounter evidence that God still redeems stories. You don't need to preach it, you embody it. Your laughter carries healing, your words carry peace, your presence carries restoration. This celebration, however, is not just for you to receive, it's for you to release. The same love that found you must now flow through you. Think of your life like a cup constantly refilled by heaven. It overflows not to waste, but to water others. The joy you've discovered is not meant to stay contained. It's meant to cascade into the lives of those still trapped in despair. And here's a truth you must carry gently: joy multiplies when it's shared. When you pass it on, when you give, when you sow, even a little heaven amplifies the impact. So if these words have fed your spirit, if they've been a mirror for your soul, then let your response become part of the celebration. Like this message, it tells heaven, I receive it. Share it, it tells the world, hope still breathes. Subscribe not out of routine, but as a declaration that you will keep walking in this flow of truth. And if your heart feels stirred, donate not as transaction, but as transformation. Imagine each contribution as a seed that turns into song, a melody of hope for someone who has forgotten their rhythm. Every act of generosity keeps this well of words flowing. It allows this message of light to reach another weary soul who desperately needs to remember that heaven still smiles. Even your comment carries weight. Write something from your heart, your reflection, your gratitude, your revelation. Your words here become like candles placed on the altar of testimony, lighting the path for others who stumble into the dark. Sometimes, one heartfelt sentence from you can break chains for another. That's the beauty of shared faith. It multiplies miracles. Heaven's celebration continues through your response. The applause doesn't end in heaven. It echoes through earth whenever light meets life. You've survived. You've transformed. And now you inspire. You are not just part of heaven's song, you are one of its verses. So dance lightly through this day. Chosen one, you carry divine music in your soul. The celebration of the redeemed is not coming, it's happening. Every breath you take is another note in the song of victory. And heaven, smiling, keeps time to your heartbeat. God's smile revealed, it is not thunderous. Chosen one, it is quiet, steady, radiant. It is not a flash of lightning, but a sunrise that lingers. It does not startle you, it steadies you. His smile is not earned through perfection, it is given through belonging. When heaven smiles over you, it is not approval of performance, but affection for identity. You are His, and that alone is enough to make eternity beam. The smile of God is a mystery few pause long enough to perceive. It is not always seen, yet it is always present. It manifests as peace when panic should reign, as strength when you should have collapsed, as clarity when confusion surrounded you. You have lived beneath that smile longer than you know. Even in seasons of sorrow, His face did not turn away, it only drew nearer. The prophet David once captured its essence in the book of Psalms, chapter 30, verse 5. Weeping may stay for the night, but rejoicing comes in the morning. That joy, the quiet returning of light after darkness, that is what God's smile feels like. It is the warmth that touches your soul before anything changes on the outside. It is the calm assurance that somehow you will be all right because love has not left the room. When God smiles, creation responds. The same way the earth awakens under sunlight, your spirit blossoms under divine delight. The fears that once held you hostage begin to loosen. The shame that once silenced you dissolves in the radiance of grace. His smile does not just comfort, it restores. It redefines who you are by reminding you whose you are. This smile cannot be counterfeited. Human applause fades, divine joy remains. You've tasted both, haven't you? You know what it is to be praised by people and still feel hollow. But when you sense His delight, no stage or spotlight could ever compare. It fills the cracks that achievement never could. It tells you that you are seen, even when unseen by the world. Heaven's smile is not shallow, it is layered with memory. God's joy over you is not because of what you have done, it's because of what you've overcome. He smiles, remembering the nights you stayed faithful, the prayers whispered through tears, the forgiveness you gave when it hurt. His smile carries history. It celebrates the moments no one else saw, the ones where you chose love over bitterness, humility over pride, surrender over control. And that smile, chosen one, is your inheritance. It is the signet of divine approval that rests upon your life now. When God smiles, doors open effortlessly. When He smiles, battles end quietly. When He smiles, storms lose their fury, not because the weather changes, but because your perspective does. You stop fearing the thunder when you realize the sky loves you. Think about that for a moment, how everything in creation reflects the joy of its creator. The oceans clap their waves in rhythm, trees lift their arms in praise, and even the stars sing in frequencies our ears cannot hear. You are part of that song. God smiles not only at what He made, but at how you've endured. The beauty of your survival is worship in motion. His smile is also direction. Sometimes it's not a word, but a warmth, an inner nudge that says, yes, this way. You've felt it, the subtle peace that tells you you're walking in alignment, the deep joy that accompanies obedience even when logic doesn't agree. That's how heaven communicates now, not through thunder, but through tenderness. To live under God's smile is to walk without fear. You begin to trust that even what you don't understand will work for good. You no longer chase validation. You rest in affection. You no longer beg for signs. You carry assurance. His smile becomes your anchor, your compass, your comfort. It's a rare thing, this revelation. Many know God's power, but few linger long enough to feel His pleasure. You have, though. You've learned that holiness is not heaviness, it's harmony. You've discovered that the closer you walk with Him, the lighter your steps become. You don't strive anymore. You flow. You don't panic. You perceive. You live each day aware that heaven is not angry, it's affectionate. And that chosen one is the ultimate victory. The battle was never just about survival. It was about rediscovering His smile. You wear it now like armor. You carry it like light. You live beneath it like endless sunrise. Heaven's joy rests upon you, and it will not fade. The legacy of the chosen, it is more than memory. Chosen one, it is movement. It is the ripple that begins with one obedient heart and continues long after the heartbeat stops. The legacy you leave is not written in marble or money. It is etched in moments of mercy, in the quiet ways you've loved, in the lives that will breathe easier because you refuse to give up. The battle is won, yes, but victory always carries responsibility. What you've conquered was never only for you. The healing that found you will now flow through you. The strength that sustained you will become the shelter others find beneath. You are the bridge between what was broken and what will be whole. You are the continuation of grace on earth. Heaven has always written legacy in living letters. When God marks a life, He doesn't just redeem a person, He redeems generations through them. That's what's happening now. The cycles that tormented your lineage end with you. The fears that ruled your family bow to your faith. The prayers your ancestors whispered in secret are being answered through your obedience. You are their echo, their fulfillment, their victory song, as was proclaimed in the book of Romans. chapter 8, verse 37. No, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him who loved us. You have not only survived, you have surpassed. The war that tried to erase your name has become the reason heaven now announces it. The story that once carried pain now carries power. The legacy you leave behind will not be defined by what hurt you, but by how you healed. Legacy is not built in grand gestures, it's born in consistency. It's in the smile you give when you could have stayed silent, the prayer you whisper when no one else remembers to pray, the kindness you offer without applause. You have learned that greatness in the kingdom is not measured by how high you climb, but by how deeply you serve. Your legacy is humility in motion. It is endurance wrapped in compassion. It is light disguised as ordinary acts of love. Heaven records those moments as seeds that will outlive you. You are not simply living history, you are writing prophecy. The generations that follow will feel the warmth of the fires you kept alive. They will walk through doors you unlocked with faith. They will inherit courage because you chose conviction. And though they may never know your name, they will know your impact. The echo of your yes to God will keep resonating long after your lifetime. Legacy also means rest. You no longer need to fight the same battles. The war is won. Now you build, now you plant, now you pour. Your life becomes an altar where gratitude burns continuously. You have walked through fire, and now you carry the flame. You have faced darkness, and now you carry dawn. And make no mistake, this legacy will not fade with time. The same spirit that sustained you sustains your story. It will reach places you may never go, touch hearts you may never meet. Each word you've spoken in faith, each act of obedience, each moment of surrender, they have become eternal seeds. Heaven will keep watering them long after you rest. You may have thought you were small, but the kingdom you've influenced disagrees. You were a single light, yet your glow ignited others. You were one voice, yet your courage sparked a chorus. You were one heart, yet your compassion became a current that heaven uses to change tides. And one day, when you step into eternity, you will see what your obedience built. You will see faces, shining people you never met who found hope because you didn't quit. You will understand that legacy is not about leaving something behind. It's about sending something forward. So walk gently now, not with weariness, but with wonder. The battle is done. The ground you stand on is sacred. The air you breathe is filled with promise. You are living proof that God finishes what He starts, and He finishes beautifully. Heaven smiles over your story, not because it was easy, but because it was faithful. You were chosen, refined, crowned, and now released to live, to love, to lead. The battle is won, chosen one. The legacy of victory is yours forever. Beloved chosen one. If these words have found their way into the quiet corners of your heart, then heaven has reached its intended place. You've walked with me through fire and rain, through silence and song, through every unfolding revelation of divine victory. You've seen the battle end and the light remain. Now this is your moment, not to close the story, but to carry it forward. If this message stirred something deep within you, let your heart respond. Like this message as an act of gratitude, not for me, but for the God who never let go. Every tap of acknowledgement becomes another whisper of thank you. Lord, share this word, let it travel where your voice cannot go. Somewhere, there's a soul standing at the edge of surrender, waiting to hear that heaven still smiles. Your share could be their sign, your obedience their awakening. And when you comment, let it come from your spirit. Write what this journey has meant to you, what line lingered, what truth you're carrying forward. Your words may be the echo that pulls another chosen one out of despair and back into destiny. Lastly, if you haven't already, subscribe, stay connected to this space of light, of anointing, of divine encouragement. Every new message will be another flame to keep your faith burning bright in a world that grows colder by the day. This isn't goodbye, it's continuation. The story doesn't end when the words stop. It keeps breathing through your life, through your love, through your courage. Heaven watches, still smiling. The victory remains. The battle is won, and now, chosen one, you walk forward carrying the light that once carried you.